Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two American whiskeys. The first one is America's original rye whiskey, well, the oldest brand that's still around. I mean, they might have had some before that, but it's a old Overholt straight rye whiskey from Kentucky, aged 4 years. Originated in Pennsylvania, but it got bought out, and the Pennsylvania brewery is a dilapidated mess, unless they've demolished it since I saw the video made inside of that thing. Now it's distilled in Kentucky by James B. Beam Distilling Company. There's the Abraham Overholt who started the company. Somebody was saying, why they didn't just renovate the place? And I said, probably wasn't worth the money. And it's way out in a rural part of Pennsylvania. It's kind of like away from any major highways. And I just think they figured it was more cost effective to keep it or bring it to Kentucky. And maybe it was the company was really struggling before they bought it anyway, or something like that. You can tell it's a Beam bottle because this is that same bottle you'll see with Beam's 8-star blended whiskey. Except that's a clear bottle. This is brown, but same bottle design, same bottle shape as you will see with the Old Crow. That's a clear bottle too. And Old Overholt. And Old Granddad. So that's a typical Jim Beam. I'll call them economy whiskey bottles. Okay. And that ran $19.99 at Dorgnac's, and then come to find out I could have gotten it for $18.99 at Total Wine and More, but that's water under the bridge. That's rye whiskey under the bridge. Here is George Dickel Rye whiskey. Company established in 1870. Now, I don't know when they introduced the rye. It might have been that year, but that's when Dickel was established, in 1870. And they're located in Tennessee. There, finally focused. This is 90 proof, no age statement. It's charcoal mellow, but before that, it's chill filtered, and they brag about that on their website. We developed chill filtering. They're saying on the website, we're one of the few rye whiskeys that uses the double chill filtering and charcoal mellowing method. But this is not made in Tennessee. This is actually contracted out to Indiana. A distillery in Indiana makes it for George Dickel, who is owned by Diageo. So they make it for Diageo. But why is that done? I do not know, but that is what they're saying. And I got this at Walmart for $12.50, full size bottle. Hey, look, I don't know why they had it so cheap. They had the closeout tag on it, the clearance tag, the bright yellow tag, and the Dickel 12, both $12.50. $25 for 2 full bottles of Dickel. Oh yeah, I was buying that. No way I was passing that up. I was planning to buy them anyway, but when I saw that price, I had to jump on it. Got to make sure I got the labels right. Because they're going to look about the same, copper color. Plastic cap. Neoprene stopper. It's like a spongy rubber. Synthetic rubber made by DuPont. They use it on the bottom of tennis shoe soles. But apparently it's really good for, and some people say it's better than the cork. Because the cork has a bad habit of dry rotting, and you got to pull it out and the whole thing crumbles into the whiskey. I've had that happen twice. If you get a real old bottle that hasn't been opened, like that 1954 bottle of cognac that I had, what you do is you turn it upside down and let that cork soak and get full moisturized for like a day. Then you open it, it might stay together. I mean, it might be too far gone. but it's certainly not going to stay together if it's because that happened with that 1983 bottle of Wild Turkey, 8-year aged, 1975 to 83 aged, and Wild Turkey 101. I was like, man, I can't wait to try to open it. There was the cap, but the cork's still stuck in the bottle because of it was just rotted. So they call it dry rot. So I used a corkscrew, but when I tried to pull it out, it just went down into the whiskey. So then I had to take the whiskey, and we did the same thing with the brandy. Get a coffee filter, right? And a coffee filter in a funnel. Put the funnel over the bottle, and put the coffee filter in the funnel, and then slowly drip it through there, and it caught the cork particle. But it was a pain in the, it was irritating. It was a delay, and it's not worth it. Okay. Like I was saying, they're copper in appearance. Now, one of these definitely does not have coloring added because it is Kentucky straight rye whiskey. It says straight rye whiskey, made in Kentucky. Straight whiskey of any sort, rye, bourbon, corn, wheat, barley malt whiskey, it cannot have coloring or flavoring added to it. It's just the law. So however it tastes is from the grains, and however it looks is from the grains, and the aging in the charred oak. But you notice George Dickel doesn't say straight rye. You notice that? And I kept wondering why. Why is it not categorized as straight rye? And I couldn't get it. I couldn't figure it out because I know there's no age statement, so we know it's at least 4 years old. It's aged at least 4 years. Secondly, it's new charred oak barrels because rye whiskey has to be aged in new charred oak. It's at least 80%, 80 proof, 40% alcohol. This is 90 proof, 45%. So I couldn't figure it out. But I did figure it out this week. We hope you'll enjoy it too. If you read the regulations carefully, and I guess I hadn't been as careful as I thought I was being, it says that rye whiskey is allowed to have coloring and flavoring added. And it says like NTE, not to exceed 2.5% of the volume, something like that. It said label disclosure, the check is under the end. No, label disclosure is not required. I looked at it again just to make sure. United States Government Tax and Trade Bureau Handbook of Distilled Beverages. Rye whiskey. Coloring and harmless coloring and flavoring, check, allowed. Label disclosure required, check, no. I said, well, there's the answer. There's no other answer. This obviously has coloring and or flavoring added. Maybe it's just coloring to give it a little darker appearance, more charcoal, more tan appearance, copper appearance. Maybe it's coloring and flavoring. This I do not know. But there would be no other reason why they wouldn't call it straight rye. I mean, you got to call it what it is. Usually, right? You could take a bourbon, make it in Tennessee, and call it Tennessee whiskey. But that's still what it is because it's made in Tennessee. So it would be a Tennessee whiskey. It just happens to be a bourbon, which is a Tennessee whiskey, such as Jack Daniels. And this argument happens at least once a day where I'm on some hangout, where the person says, well, it's not a bourbon because they charcoal mellow it. And I'm Like last night, I didn't have time to get into it, but I was like, no, it is a bourbon. They just don't choose to call it that, which is fine. Hold on a second. Because they're not lying. It is a Tennessee whiskey. It's made in Tennessee. I'll clean that up later. All right, I dropped something. All right, I'll pick that up later. Okay, not important. But that's a marketing decision. It's not an objective reality, and some people get really irate about it. I canceled out the cancel. The somebody asked me, why do you tap those glasses together 7 times? I said, I just copied that from James P. Madonna, and I don't know why he does that. There's no actually any purpose to it. I just do it. Okay. Now people say, why you take your cap off when you're doing a beer review? Well, there's a purpose to that. Half the time, if I have a cap on, my whole face is in the dark, because of the shadow. And it's just kind of rude, sitting there with a cap on, like, hey, look at me, I got a cap on. It's like, nah, you could show some respect to the audience, Smells like, rye, which is that spicy grain. Now this one smells like weirdness, and I tell you what. Hi, hello, Herbie. There's something about this George Dickel Rye that to me tastes like Flintstone vitamins. And it's distinct, and I can always pick it up, and that's how I can tell it apart. Now, I'm not opposed to the taste. It doesn't taste bad. It's just very peculiar. But I haven't tasted it yet, so let's go to taste. I'm not sure. Let's go to taste. Cheers. You would think the proof would make a difference, 40% versus 45, and it might. That's just standard rye bread crust. Of course, 40% alcohol. You're going to pick up that liquor part of it, the booze part. Medium body, little mintiness, basic, nice, good, but nothing like spectacular. Like, oh, I'm amazed by it. Same type thing. Maybe with higher proof. I don't know. This is a tough one. I thought it was going to be a snap. I thought this would be easy. Like, oh yeah, I'll get this in seconds rather than minutes. But I don't think it's happening. I know it's not happening because I'm not getting it. Let's go with the second taste. Okay. This one has a little bit of a peculiar flavor, but I can't say what it is. I don't know if it's that Flintstone vitamin. And it tastes like it's got a higher proof, like it's a little more alcohol punch to it, which at 90 proof versus 80-ish, 86 should be. That's right, 86 proof. What am I saying? What am I saying? I keep thinking that it's 80. Well, you know why I do that? Because when I first bought the old Overhaul in 2020, it was rated at when I first saw it, it was rated at 80 proof. All right. And I saw one day Walmart had replaced the black cap bottles with the red caps, which I thought was just a change in appearance. I just thought, but they updated the label. No, doesn't matter. So I bought the red cap, and I started reading reviews, and people were saying, "Oh, this is the 80 proof. This is the 8." I said, "What? That's two different proofs." So I researched. I said, "Oh no, the black cap was the 80 proof, a different recipe, and it was chill filtered, and it was only So same aging on that at that period. So I went back to Walmart the next day. I said, because sometimes they'll have bottles stuck in the back of the shelf. They don't bother rotating. So I checked in the back, nothing, all red caps. I said, oh my goodness. Went to all kind of liquor stores, nothing. I said, I missed the boat, missed the boat. So I told my friend David, I said, be on the lookout for the black cap because I want to buy it. I'll pay you back, but I got to get that black cap. I mean, I don't have to get it, but I wanted it. So one day he called me and said, there's the black cap here at Dorgnac's. He said, there's one bottle left, $17.99, which was $2 more than the current Walmart price. I said, well, buy it because I know if I don't buy it, I'll never see it. And actually, I have never seen it since. So looks like I made the right decision. So that's why I keep thinking it's 80 because that was the original level, or at least from the in the recent years. But now they've brought it up. They've brought it up, and now they're aging it longer. So it's higher and longer aged. Doesn't seem to make much of a difference, but that is the fact. Would I recommend Old Overholt? Oh, yes, I'd recommend it. Sure, why not? It's going to be less than $20. If you're smart, you can get it for just under 20 after tax. And it's pleasant. It's mild. It's mellow. It's enjoyable. There's nothing really wrong with it. And I can't think of anything to complain about. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the flavors are just, like I said earlier, amazing. And I just can't believe it. It just tastes standard. Kind of like Sazerac Rye. People make a big thing out of Sazerac Rye like it's so, it's from Buffalo Trace. I can't get over it. I mean, here in Louisiana, it's common. Everybody sells it, and it's like $18.99. You can find it on sale for $18.99. Last year it was $17.99 at one point. But I see videos. People will say we paid $50 for it. I say $50 for Sazerac Rye, and it's here $18.99. I mean, that's the sales price, but at least once a week, every week, a different store got it on sale. Do they secretly get together and take turns? I don't know. It seems like a strange coincidence that it's always a different store with it on sale, and it seems like it rotates. It'll be Zupardo's this week, $18.99. Now, after Christmas, it'll be Canseco's having it for $18.99. And then toward February, it'll be Bromart having it for $18.99. I'm like, But it's like no one ever has it for the same, and no one ever has it on that sale at the same time. You said, oh, it's just an amazing coincidence. Okay, maybe so, but that goes on for years. Nobody has it for the same price week to week for years in the same town. Okay. Doesn't matter because they're all close. The stores are all close to each other. So if I needed another bottle and I was passing through Metairie and stopped at Rouse's, I mean, how difficult is that? Okay. But we'll bring in Sazerac Rye later on in this tournament. And it is made in New Orleans, not most of it, but some of the Sazerac rye is distilled right there in New Orleans on a corner of Canal Street and Magazine Street. So, and the owner lives in New Orleans, and their big warehouses in New Orleans. So that might, probably have something to do with the low price. Just like yesterday, Buffalo Trace. There was Buffalo Trace right there at Mathern's. But they were only allowing people to buy one per visit, because Buffalo Trace, oftentimes they sell out of it, because around the whole United States, everybody's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over Buffalo Trace, which is really just an ordinary kind of regular old whiskey, nothing much different than Four Roses or something like that, but people go crazy over it. So Mathern said, well, you can buy one bottle per visit. So $24.99. Last year was $23.99. And then they got Eagle Rare in earlier in the week. Eagle Rare. That didn't last. Is that one overhyped? I don't know if it's overhyped. I mean, it's aged 10 years. Was it 90 proof? But I remember 10 years ago, Eagle Rare would just be on the shelf. It was like $45, $48. It was just on the shelf. Like, it would never sell out. You see it. Oh, give me a handle. Give me the regular size. It was like nothing. And then it's really since the scamdemic started, when all the craziness went on with these bourbons. I don't know if it's because of that happening, or if they use that as an opportunity to restrict the availability and raise the price and cause these products to become so supposedly special. Now, that could have been part of it. I don't know. I think that's the Dickel. And it is. So that higher proof showed itself, but it was close. So in this case, which one would I pick? I would just pick whichever one was cheaper. And you might hear that refrigerator squealing. I think the George Dickel is a little more expensive. We can check. I think it's like $22.99, something like that. I don't think it's real expensive. But I could check real fast on Total Wine and More. I can't say I prefer it, though. I mean, I could tell it apart because of a little higher proof. And it's maybe a little longer age. And we know it's a little longer age because 4 years and 4. Yeah, they might both be 4 years. So no, never mind the age. Yeah. $25.99. Well, it went up because it was 22. $25.99, and I got it for $12.50. What a deal! Now they got the handle $42.99, so you come out ahead buying the handle. If you're going to drink it, and I'm telling you it's good. I'm telling you it's good, and you could trust me. I'm not going to tell you it's not good if it isn't. I don't work for George Dickel, Diageo. It is good. You'll enjoy it. So if you know you're going to drink it, you may as well pay the $42.99 and get the handle. You're getting it cheaper per ounce. You all want to get stuff per ounce cheaper. The number 12 recipe is $23.99, so it's a little less. And they don't sell the black label isn't that strange? Isn't that weird? Total Wine does not have the black label available. That's an oddball thing. What? All right. Well, thanks everybody, and I'm gonna call it a draw. I mean, it's not really any much difference between the two. So I'll call it a pick 'em. You choose. It's up to you. But I would just buy whatever's cheaper. And in this case, this one is clearly cheaper. It's $7 cheaper as we check the price on Total Wine. So I would save the $7. And what are you losing in quality? 70 cents, maybe. So yeah, George. Old Overholt is the clear winner here. All things considered. and I like to consider all things, it's the clear winner. All right. Thanks, everybody. Y'all take care now.